Hello, and welcome back to the Daily Refresh. Our chapter and verse for today is Hebrews chapter 4, verse 9, and it reads, "There remains a Sabbath rest for the people of God." So this kind of ties back to a previous Daily Refresh we talked about on observing the Sabbath and keeping it holy, and this being a pretty much example that God gave to us from the beginning of the world. So now this just reiterates that there is a Sabbath rest for the people of God. So what does that look like? Because I know a lot of us, though, while we need to rest, present company included, might not be the best at it. Again, I'm in that number. But there's power in resting and being able to get that refreshment and rejuvenation. So the devotional that comes from the YouVersion Bible app, and it reads, "Rest is a reality." Now, some of us might think this is just something, ideal. It'd be great to rest, but in real life, it doesn't really always happen. But this is reminding us that rest is a reality. It's not just a fantasy, a fairy tale, a myth. It's a reality. So we have in Hebrews chapter 4 verse 9, the author offers a reassurance of hope. There remains then a Sabbath rest for the people of God. The author is referring to more than just observing a specific day of the week. It's about a spiritual inward peace and wholeness with God, not depending on external circumstances. So it's not just about, that set aside. Of course, the Sabbath is something that we should always observe and keep holy. Like that's a part. That's what we are supposed to do. And this just kind of reiterates even more that it goes more even beyond what we might look at as rest. So not necessarily just binge watching something on Netflix and eating your favorite snack, but finding some inward peace for your spirit and soul and being able to feel whole because of your connection and relationship with God. That's going to lead you to this Sabbath rest. Through faith and trust in God, we can find a deep and lasting rest for our souls, reminding us of the eternal rest to come. This Sabbath rest serves as a precursor, a promise that concludes in a future perfect rest. And that comes from Revelation chapter 14, verse 13. The rest we get to experience here is only a shadow, and what we hope for is the reality. And that's in reference to Colossians, the second chapter, verse 17. Sabbath rest isn't earned. It's a gift of God offers to all who seek Him. So it's a gift. There's so many gifts that God gives us, and this is just yet another gift that God, through His ultimate grace and mercy and His unwavering favor for us, gives us this additional gift of a Sabbath rest. As you contemplate Hebrews chapter 4 verse 9, consider what it would look like for you to fully enter God's rest in your daily life. How can you practice releasing your burdens and anxieties? The promise of Sabbath rest is not just a concept. It's a reality for those who walk faithfully with God. So just consider that, especially as you go into your weekend mode. And for some, that's restful. For some, that's also, some hard work ahead. But as you just consider not just this weekend, but just every day, because this reminds us of the power of setting aside rest time daily. So being able to lay down our burdens and anxieties and worries and stress at the feet of God and leave it there. We talked about that before too. Like, we are really good at taking it to the altar and telling God all about it and all the trouble, but for whatever the reason, we go back and try to pick it up again as if God cannot handle it better than we can. Of course He can. That was the whole purpose of going and laying it down at His feet, because He can handle it way better than we can. So we have to get comfortable with taking our burdens and anxieties to God and allowing Him to replace that with the light burden. Remember, He said His burden is light. His burden is easy. And so if we are able to exchange those burdens and those anxiety and have that Sabbath rest, that gift that God gives us, it just will make all the difference in how we live our daily lives and how we're able to interact with others. And living a stress-free existence would be wonderful, and that's probably one of the things that we would really say is, ideal, or like a utopia. But this is reminding us as well that that too can be a reality in our lives. But we have to take our burdens and anxieties to God and leave them there and take on this gift that He's giving us in exchange. So until tomorrow, God bless you.